There are only 11 pitchers in MLB history to win back-to-back Cy Young Awards. 5 of them are in the Hall of Fame. Another one would have been if he didn't get busted for steroids. Group, a guy that will never see the Hall despite completely dominating the sport for a 4-year stretch. For a short period of time, Tim Lincecum was the most dominant pitcher in baseball. I feel like we tend to forget the apex of Tim Lincecum's success with the San Francisco Giants. But he started the All-Star game, he tossed 2 no-hitters in his career, he has 3 World Series rings on his mantle, he threw over 210 innings 4 years in a row. This is a full career's list worth of awesome accolades, things that guys who played for 20 years never accomplished. How did things go so right and then so wrong for the freak? It's a wild story and it's about time we do it justice. And before we dive in fully, as always, make sure to leave a like on today's video and subscribe if you've been enjoying my recent content. Meteoric rise tends to get tossed around a lot in sports. We use it for rookies who get off to a hot start, guys who suddenly take their sport by storm. But in the case of Tim Lincecum, he is the literal textbook definition of a meteoric rise. From the jump, Lincecum was a hot commodity. He won the Pac-10 Pitcher of the Year award 2 separate times in his college days at Washington, and he won the Golden Spikes Award in 2006, an accolade given to the best collegiate baseball player in the nation. That the Giants gave him the largest signing bonus in franchise history at the time. After a year, number 11 overall in baseball. In 2007, he allowed 1 earned run in 31 innings. At 5'11" and just 170 pounds, Lincecum hardly fit the profile of someone that should be dominating the best hitters on the planet. Growing up in the Pacific Northwest and going to the University of Washington, Lincecum kinda looked like if Seattle transformed into a person. But the hard truth is that he was the real deal, and the Giants obviously pulled the trigger and called him up early, just a year after being drafted. To know that this is extremely rare. There's a reason no one really cares about the MLB draft, and it's because we typically don't see these guys who get picked for another 3 to 4 years after the fact. For Tim to get called up a year after getting drafted was a massive vote of confidence. It's a very select group of guys who have done this, including Chris Sale, Carlos Rodon, and of course, Paco Rodriguez. Tim got the call in early May and announced his presence to the baseball world with an unforgettable start against the Astros in the 3rd game of his career. He struck out 10, allowing just 2 hits and 1 unearned run, and took off from there. July would be the first real month of him in the spotlight, with Lincecum going undefeated in 5 starts. Lincecum hit a bit of a wall in mid-August after this brief run of dominance, and the Giants were forced to reel him in due to workload concerns with the career-high in innings pitched that year. But it was clear that at just 23 years old and only being in pro ball for less than 2 years, Tim Lincecum was the real deal. He was a force to be reckoned with, and 2008 is the true kickoff to our story. Referencing is just how much Lincecum was throwing in the early stages of his career. As a rookie in 2007, he threw 100 or more pitches in 13 of his 24 starts. The next year, he threw the 2nd most pitches in baseball. He started 2008 by going 4-0 in 5 starts with a 1.23 ERA in 29 innings, including back-to-back scoreless starts against the Cardinals and Padres. Astros hitter Lance Berkman, an all-time great hitter who said that he has 3 almost unhittable pitches. When he throws those pitches where he wants, you've got no chance. Hunter Pence didn't mince words either about his talents. Lincecum was well on his way to absolute stardom. He earned his first All-Star nod, he landed on the cover of Sports Illustrated, he set the all-time single-season strikeout record for a Giants pitcher in just his 2nd season, and threw a career-high 227 innings. He threw over 100 pitches in 27 of his 34 starts, and in his shutout against the Padres in September, Bruce Bochy let him loose for a staggering 138 pitches. This is a crazy workload for a 24-year-old, especially troubling considering the Giants weren't really going anywhere this season. But for now, he was lighting the baseball world on fire and everyone was taking notice. Lincecum quickly separated himself from the pack. He won the league strikeout crown by a 60-unit margin and led the National League in fielding independent pitching, strikeout rate, strikeout to walk ratio, home run per 9 rate, and he was also top 3 in innings pitched and ERA. Identical batting average to right-handers and left-handers, and unsurprisingly, Lincecum was awarded the National League Cy Young Award for his efforts, just the 2nd Giant to ever do so. He also beat out 3 former winners to take home the trophy. His reaction, of course, was about as pure as it gets. He landed on the cover of MLB 2K9. Hey, remember when there was MLB 2K games? And got this trippy-ass commercial with Randy Johnson in it. He got a super fun ad on SportsCenter too. Remember SportsCenter? This is the freak. Hey, this is the franchise, and was getting marketed really well in general. But how do you possibly follow up winning the highest honor of your athletic profession in just your 2nd season doing the damn thing? After a couple of off starts to begin 2009, Lincecum feasted on the Arizona Diamondbacks, striking out 25 snakes in 16 innings with just 1 earned run allowed in back-to-back April wins. But in the 9 starts that followed, the freak found another gear and turned things up a notch. From May 21st to July 4th of that season, Lincecum pitched to a 1.15 2.5 ERA in 70 innings, including 3 complete games in a 5-week span. Lincecum became the quickest Giants pitcher to reach 500 strikeouts in franchise history. This time, Tim Lincecum was named the starter for the National League. Then, a 20-inning scoreless streak included his 4th complete game of the year. In 2009, Bochy was letting him go deeper than ever before. 4 complete games, he topped 100 pitches in 3/4 of his 32 starts. He did miss a start with injury for the first time this season, but the real ripple effects of this workload. By the end of the season, Lincecum had once again tossed well past 200 innings and appeared as the frontrunner for the Cy Young for a second consecutive year. He led in pretty much every category that he had led in the year prior. Strikeouts, fielding independent pitching, strikeout rate, all of them. He was top the chain. You'll notice that Lincecum was once again the weak strikeout king, somehow surpassing 260 punchouts for the second season in a row. Tim Lincecum ended up winning the Cy Young again, despite some heavier competition this time from great seasons by Cardinals aces Adam Wainwright and Chris Carpenter, and he became one of just 5 pitchers ever to win multiple Cy Young awards through their age 25 season. The Giants took a considerable step forward, improving 14 wins to an 88-74 record, only good for a 3rd-place finish in the NL West. Huge expectations were placed upon the upcoming 2010 season to take the leap into the playoffs. More popular to younger baseball fans, it was smooth sailing for Tim Lincecum and the Giants heading into his 4th season, striking out 43 and walking just 7 batters in 35 innings with a 1.27 ERA. Lincecum had already thrown 120 pitches or more in 3 separate starts, where he lost all 5 of his starts this month and saw his season ERA rise from 3.10 to 3.85. He rounded things out by winning 5 of his 6 September starts with an ERA under 2, as the Giants pulled ahead and won the division for the first time since 2003. He led the NL in strikeouts in 3 consecutive seasons from 2008 to 2010, joining Max Scherzer and Randy Johnson as the only pitchers to do so since 1950. But he and the Giants had their sights set on a much bigger prize this season. In terms of a start to someone's playoff career, I think he'd be hard-pressed to find a better one than Tim Lincecum's. Big-time Timmy Jim was never bigger or timer than this start right here. The Giants won this game and took the series in 4 games, with each win coming by 1 run, but none bigger than this first game. After 14 innings with a 3.21 ERA, the Giants also had Lincecum pitch a second consecutive day after Game 5, using him in relief to help secure a 3-2 win in Game 6. When the Giants called on them in Game 5 to try and clinch the series, Tim had his best performance since that first game against the Braves. In his 4th MLB season, Tim Lincecum became a World Series champion, and the Giants famously have not won another World Series since. He made the All-Star team again, of course, becoming one of just 3 pitchers to make the All-Star team every year from 2008 to 2011, alongside Roy Halladay and Mariano Rivera. Speaking of strikeouts, from 2007 to this 2011 season, Lincecum struck out 1,127 batters, which is an almost inconceivable amount. Lincecum finished with the 4th best ERA in the National League and once again finished top 10 in Cy Young voting, but this was the last truly great season of his career. So let's put it off and keep talking about some fun stuff. Tim Lincecum would be one of the worst qualified starters in baseball in 2012, but luckily for him, the Giants were stupidly good and had a great rotation consisting of Matt Cain, Mad Bum, Barry Zito, and another Giant I did a video on, Ryan Vogelsong, a famously competitive series between the 2 teams. In the end, he ate up valuable innings and became a huge piece of the Giants' road to their 2nd ring in 3 years. Okay, I guess we should talk about the fall of Lincecum now. Tim Lincecum owned a lot of teams during his prime, but none more than the Padres. His 2.20 ERA against the Padres is 2nd lowest, only to Clayton Kershaw, for pitchers with at least 150 innings against them in the wildcard era. This was the lone bright spot on his otherwise forgettable 2013 season. It's just a shame he didn't get to do it in front of the San Francisco crowd. That's pretty nuts. Yeah, Tim Lincecum no-hit the Padres back-to-back years, doing so in easily the weakest full seasons of his career. Lincecum became one of just 3 pitchers in Major League Baseball history to win multiple World Series championships, multiple Cy Young awards, multiple All-Star selections, and throw multiple no-hitters. Tim Lincecum achieved so much in what's considered a short career at just 10 years total. Alright, I'm looking at my list and I'm all out of fun stuff. We should probably talk about why his career was so short, and I think a large reason for it was the massive workload he endured in his early 20s. I mentioned a lot that Lincecum's physique wasn't conventional for the profile of a dominant starting pitcher. Lincecum was still effective. He had an ERA of 2.0 in his first 8 starts of that year, but shortly after, in July, he was diagnosed with a degenerative condition in both of his hips and was given cortisone shots. His final season with the Giants. 3 years later, Lincecum was out of the game completely in 2019. Easily conquered the best hitters in the game, had become a complete shell style of his former self. This is not a rise and fall video, this is just a rise video. The peak of Tim Lincecum may be the greatest of any pitcher I see in my entire lifetime. In 2014, the Sacramento Bee described Lincecum as the most beloved San Francisco sports figure since Joe Montana. That's something much more poetic than what I could have drawn up to close this video, so I think I'll leave you all with that. Thanks for the memories, big time Timmy Jim. I think that's 4 times, right? Ride high, freak, and thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next week.